Hello and welcome to the 36th broadcast of the Nerdflix Podcast. Way back in Nerdflix number 25, we did an episode on Funko Pops, where we talked about all the Pops in my collection. Well, since then, I have collected a lot more Pops, so today we are going to do a Funko recap on all the Pops I have collected since then. So let's get started.
Hello. I'm the Doctor. Basically, run.
Why so serious?
Hello, Peter.
Ferb, I know what we're gonna do today.
I got a bad feeling about this.
This is the way.
Welcome to the Nerdflix Podcast. If you don't know what Funko is, it is a collectibles company that started making bobbleheads in 1998, and then in 2010, it started making Funko Pops. Now, this is their most popular figure, though they still do make other figures, and I, of course, collect, like tons of other people, I collect the Funko Pops. Now, Funko has a total of over 24,000 products, but today we will be covering just some of the ones I've picked up since the last time we talked about my collection. The first Funko we'll talk about today is Phoebe from the new Ghostbusters movie, Ghostbusters Afterlife. I really enjoyed Ghostbusters Afterlife. I thought it was a very good film, so when I went to Comic-Con in December, I found this Funko for only $10, so I picked it up because I really liked the movie, and it was a pretty nice figure. Now, this one is the least valuable of my collection because it's actually worth nothing right now. It doesn't even have a price displayed on the app because it hasn't been out for that long. When I got it, it wasn't even available online. So right now, it doesn't have enough data to show you a trending value of the pop, but it is a pretty nice pop, but it comes in at nothing. This next one is one of my Star Wars Funko Pops. I got it at a store for about the price it's worth. I believe I paid $7 for it. It is worth $7. I believe that's how much I paid. But this is Captain Cassian Andor from Rogue One. This was released in 2016, and actually, older Star Wars Funko Pops that you can get like that, they all come in bases, just like Star Wars Funkos do now. But back in 2016, you could actually remove the figure from its base, because they come with these large, compact Star Wars bases with almost like a plaque in the front that says Star Wars. You can see it in the picture. But they used to come off that stand, and then you could display them without it if you want to. It's just that they don't stand very well without it, so I tend to keep them on. And now you can't even. Now they're just glued down. But back then you were able to remove the pop from the stand. The next pop is Jyn Erso from Rogue One. She was also released in 2016. When the movie was released, I bought this one at the same time I bought the last one because they go together. This one is worth $8, and I believe I only paid $5 for it, so that was a good deal. This one's also exclusive to the Smuggler's Bounty Box, which is a collectible subscription box you get with all kinds of Star Wars collectibles. I don't believe they run that anymore. I don't think it's a thing. It may be, but I think they stopped that. But yes, so this one is released 2016, worth $8, and Smuggler's Bounty exclusive. It is also vaulted, which means that you cannot buy it anymore. It is not being produced by Funko anymore, so the only way you can find it is if stores happen to have some leftover or getting it used off places like eBay. The next figure is a Captain Marvel figure, but not just any Captain Marvel figure, because this one's part of a special Marvel line where they turn Marvel characters into robots. I talked about my Black Panther one on the last podcast on Funkos, and now I have the Captain Marvel one. This one, as well as Black Panther, was released in 2021 and is worth $9. Now, this is just crazy, the amount of detail they can put into these things, because just looking at the picture, you can see how detailed this pop really is, and it is slightly bigger than regular pops. I'd say about an inch or two, and it is significantly heavier. So it is a pretty awesome pop. This next one is one of my favorites in my collection. This is Darth Vader from Return of the Jedi when he gets electrocuted by Darth Sidious. So just looking at the pop, you can see the energy going around him, all the electricity and the lightning. And the coolest part about this is in the movie when he gets electrocuted, his helmet glows and you can see his skull through it. So this pop, the front is translucent blue with a Funko Pop skull in the center. So it really does look like in the movie. And it really does look like he's being electrocuted. And it is also very detailed. Even to the point that, like, his hand is missing, just like it is in the movie. It gets cut off right before he gets electrocuted. So whoever designed this really paid attention to that scene and really had some great attention to detail. Because this is a really nice pop. And, of course, this being Star Wars, it is a bobblehead. All Star Wars and Marvel Funko Pops are a bobblehead. It has something to do with the fact that Hasbro also has the rights to Star Wars and Marvel to make collectible figures, so for them to be different, Funko had to make them bobbleheads. It's something like that. But yeah, so this one was released in 2019 and is worth $9. Next, we'll talk about Rick O'Connell from The Mummy. Now, these were announced there's 3 of them. They announced 3 The Mummy Funko Pops in spring of 2021. They were set to release in June, and I picked this one up off Amazon in October. So I had my eye on it from the beginning, but I didn't pick it up till October. But I'm still glad I got it, because it is a pretty nice pop. It has a bit of trouble standing, but it mostly does fine as long as there's something behind it to fall against. That's not another pop when it falls, because if all your pops are lined up and one falls, then you have kind of a domino effect, and that goes badly. But otherwise, it is a pretty nice pop. I do enjoy the sword in his hand. I think that's a great detail to the movie. And overall, I think they did a good job with making him look like how he does in the movie, of the outfit and the hair and everything. And so this was released in 2021, like I said, and is worth $10. Now we'll talk about the Dark Trooper from The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian, of course, is a very good show. I very much enjoyed the 2 seasons of The Mandalorian. I'm excited for a possible season 3. And this pop I equally enjoy, because like I've already said, Funko has a great attention to detail, and this just proves it. There is some great detail on this Funko, because this character is supposed to be a robot, just like all the other tons of robots in Star Wars. And you can see the joints and different wires going through it, and I really think it is a nice pop, and I love the glowing red eyes. So this one is pretty cool. This was released with a wave of Season 2 Mandalorian pops back in 2021, and just like Rick O'Connell, it is worth $10. And there are some more Mandalorian pops on the way, and I'm excited to see if I can pick up some of them, because they look like some pretty nice ones. If you look at the box of a Funko Pop, you will see that in the corner there is a number, and each Funko comes in a line. It might be just regular Funko Pop, it might be Pop Television, or movies, or basically whatever it's from, and the number depends on what number the figure is in that line. So if that's the 27th figure to be made for the television line, the number will be 27. And this next Funko's number is actually number 1, because it is the first Funko in the Funko Pop Broadway line. This next one is Alexander Hamilton, of course, from Hamilton. It was released in 2021 with 6 other Hamilton Funko Pops and is worth $11. But something interesting about another Hamilton Funko Pop that was released just recently, there was a 7th one that was exclusive to New York Comic Con, but after the convention was over, there was a shared realtor thing where it also went to Amazon, and it's still up there for $15, I think. But actually, looking at the app, it is worth quite a bit. This Lafayette Funko Pop from Hamilton is now worth $43. But here's the thing, there's 2 different versions. If you get the one with the New York Comic Con sticker from the Comic Con, you get a $50 value Funko Pop. But that one has the New York Comic Con sticker. But the one you get from Amazon doesn't have New York Comic Con specifically. It has a sticker that says Fall Convention, which is only worth $43, but still quite a lot, and it is a nice figure. But I found that interesting that they had 2 separate stickers there, and 2 separate items on the app. But so, the one we're talking about here is Alexander Hamilton. That's the only one I have, though. I am trying to get that Lafayette one. But, it is a pretty nice pop. There was another one of him in the blue coat instead of the orangish one he was wearing. That was a Walmart exclusive, but this was the one I was able to find, and like I said, it is worth $11. I have 3 Nightmare Before Christmas Funko Pops, 2 of which we talked about on the first Funko podcast. That was Jack as Santa Claus, and the mayor, well, just the mayor. I don't think he has a name. No, the box just says mayor. Kind of vague, actually. Well, anyways, the one we're talking about today is Vampire Jack. This isn't just Jack Skellington, it is Jack Skellington dressed as a vampire. I like this one because, like I said, it's not just Jack Skellington, it's him as a vampire, so it makes it unique. And it is a pretty nice pop. I think Jack Skellington does make a pretty good Funko Pop, because him normally doesn't look that different from a Funko Pop, so there's not much that can go wrong when you're converting from Jack the Funko Pop. Some characters are hard to make in the Pops just because of the way Pops' heads are shaped and the way that particular character looks, but I think it went really well with Jack. This one was released in 2019 and is worth $11. A while back, I think it might have been November, maybe even October, but I went to Barnes & Noble and I picked up this pop. This is the Bloody Baron from Harry Potter. He is one of the ghosts that roams the halls at Hogwarts. This is part of the same line that my Hermione as a cat was in, that was released in 2018, and this one is worth $12. This next pop I had been trying to get since June. I had seen this WandaVision pop. This is Vision from WandaVision in his Halloween outfit from the Halloween episode. And I've been trying to get this since June. I forget when it was released, what month it was, what it was announced, but I had tried to get it in June off of Amazon, and Amazon was out of stock and was going to send it to me when it came back in stock, but it never came back in stock, like, all the way through October. I couldn't find it. It wouldn't come back on Amazon. I couldn't find it anywhere else. So I ended up just swapping that one out for the Rick O'Connell one, because it looked like I wasn't going to get that. But then, I got it for Christmas. So, thankfully, I did get this pop after a while. I had been chasing it for some time now. This was released in 2021, but like I said, I don't remember what month. And it's worth $13, which isn't a crazy amount. I know it has gone down. Originally, it was like $23 when it was first released. But it still is a really nice pop, and I love the detail on it. And overall, it's just really cool. I just talked about how much I like The Mandalorian, and one of the reasons I really like The Mandalorian, and I'm sure a reason for anyone who has seen The Mandalorian, is, of course, the child / Grogu / Baby Yoda. Originally, he was called the Child, and in the second season, they named him Grogu, and the internet's called him. I don't have to explain it. If you want to know, go back to the Mandalorian episode. I explained the entire thing there. But anyways, this pop is one of the many pops they released for Grogu. There have been a lot of Grogu-themed pops here. This particular one is actually before he got his name Grogu, when he was called the Child. So the box says the Child is the Child with Cup. There's been a bunch. There was Child with Butterfly, the Child with Squid. There's a bunch of the Child Funko Pops, but this particular one is the Child with Cup, because of course, well, he has a cup in his hand. And this one is pretty nice. I had always wanted to get a Grogu Funko Pop, but fun thing about this one is that it's so short, and its ear span is so long that it goes into the box sideways, like the box sits sideways, if that makes sense. Like, if you look at a regular Funko Pop box, and you just turn it sideways, that's how the box works for this one, because his ears are just so wide. This was released in 2020, part of one of the original waves for The Mandalorian, and is worth $14. I was at a Target, and I picked up this pop. It is a Target exclusive, which is why I found it there, and Target actually has a pretty good price range on Funkos. I think the regular price is like $9, which is pretty cheap considering some stores have the regular price for pops be like $12. So I picked up this one because it was pretty cheap, it was a pretty nice pop, and it is a Target exclusive. This is Formal Paul Atreides from Dune. Now, why is he called Formal Paul Atreides? Well, because there was a common Funko Pop, which means that it's not exclusive to any stores. That was just Paul Atreides in the outfit that he wears when he's on the planet. I can't remember its name. But anyways, but this is Formal Paul Atreides when he's on his home planet in his, formal clothes. And that's how they made a separate pop to give to Target specifically. So this is Formal Paul Atreides. This one was released in 2020 and is worth $17. And for a while when I first got it, just like Phoebe, it was worth nothing because there wasn't enough data for the trending value. But now there is, and its total is $17. Venom is a classic Marvel character who can take over the bodies of other characters and kind of create new character villains out of them. You would refer to that as a Marvel character being venomized, like a venomized Hulk or venomized Captain America. Particularly Spider-Man, I think that's where the character originated. I know he did spend quite some time with Spider-Man. But Funko released an entire line of venomized Funko Pops of different Marvel characters being venomized. And this one was one of my favorites that they released. And one of my favorites in my collection, this is venomized Iron Man. And one reason I really like this one is because it does look like he's flying. Because when Iron Man flies, he shoots those laser things out of his hands and feet to create thrust to throw him into the air. So what's coming out of his hands and feet is those same lasers, but red now because he's Venom and bad. So to make it look like he's flying, which I think is really cool. I also just really like the detail on the armor and the different spikes coming out of it. This one was released in 2018 and is worth $17. And now we've gotten to number 3 on this list, which is actually number 7 in the collection, since this is everything I've collected since the last one, which was August 22nd, I believe. And this is the Iron Spider. So this is Spider-Man in the Iron Spider suit from Avengers Endgame. This one's particularly interesting because it had to come out after Avengers Endgame because it contained spoilers for Avengers Endgame. So even though they wanted to release a line of Avengers Pops before the movie, for publicity reasons, they could only release so much because a lot of the cool stuff they wanted to make Pops for were huge spoilers for the movie, like Iron Man with the Nano Gauntlet or Captain America with Thor's hammer. And this was one of those Pops they had to release afterwards. This one's one of my personal favorites for multiple reasons. First of all, it looks like he's jumping at you. He has a special base in the back that holds him in the air. And they make metallic Funko Pops, and those ones are labeled as metallic. But this one isn't labeled as metallic, but is quite shiny. And also, I just love the detail on this thing. The spider arms coming out, the Nano Gauntlet under his arm. It overall is just a really cool pop. And this one comes out to $25 and was released in 2019 with Avengers Endgame. Number 2 on this list and number 5 in my overall collection was released in 2018 and comes out to $27. This is one I just got recently for my birthday. This is Owen from Jurassic World, specifically Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, and this specifically is Owen with Baby Raptor. Now this is a Target exclusive that came out with the movie Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. It was a pretty good movie. I liked it better than Jurassic World, but if you want to hear about that movie, you can go back to the Jurassic Park / Jurassic World podcast. Anyways, this pop in particular is cool because I love the Baby Raptor and it's popified. It just looks awesome. I love the detail, like the QR code on the egg. That's a detail from the movie, if you've seen it. But yeah, so overall, this is a pretty nice looking pop, and that comes up to $27 and number 3 on the list. So my top pop on this list, which is actually number 4 in my collection altogether, my number 1 is 43. But this one is 28 and was released in 2021. And this one is President Loki from Loki. President Loki really is a really nice pop that I picked up for only $10 at the Comic-Con I went to recently, and it comes out to $28. This one is pretty cool, and another one of those ones that kind of looks metallic, even though it isn't labeled as metallic. His shoes and some of his suit look metallic. It's super detailed. He even has the campaign button. You can't see it in the picture because it's really small, but the one they have in the show that says Loki across it, He has the horns. It's just really detailed. It's ripped just like in the show. So it really is just a perfect pop, and probably one of my favorites. Not probably. Probably my favorite. Definitely one of my favorites. One more thing before you go, I would like to bring your attention to the fact that it is the 1-year anniversary of the Nerdflix Podcast. 1 year ago today, January 31st, we put up the first Nerdflix Podcast, Spider-Man. So, happy birthday, the Nerdflix Podcast. Yes, so it is the 1-year anniversary, and since then, the first podcast has accumulated 130 views, and the podcast overall has gotten over 800 views. So that's just insane. So just keep watching, and thanks so much for the views and support. Okay, guys, that is it for this episode of the Nerdflix Podcast. I will see you next time on Nerdflix.
Phone home.
Goodbye, Parsival. Thanks. Thanks for playing my game.